What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about?
Yes.
Okay, I have a topic in mind.
I know you do. This is what I'm waiting. I know that this is being directed somehow, so you
But
go.
you can always say no to it, by the way.
Yes, I know. I know.
Yeah.
What's your topic that you have in mind?
Okay, so you and I are brother and sister.
Yes.
I chose to move
Yes.
outside of where our family lives
Yes.
and go to a new city,
Yes.
but you stayed there.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about you
Yeah.
leaving?
Mm-hmm.
Mixed feelings. Two things, okay? I'm happy that you can experience the life that you can, Arftali, in the sense that, no, I mean,
Don't hold back.
I'm not holding
Yeah,
back.
I know.
I love the fact that you can like go out there and experience and be who you are, because you're such a different person than when you used to be, when you were like back, like before you did this move. If you think about it, you became a stranger to me, to who you were before, a stranger that I've loved to getting to know now and who you are and who you've become.
Yeah, of
I don't
course
think you
not.
would have ever been able to embrace yourself fully.
Yeah.
That's one thing, but there's also the negative part of it where you like left all your responsibilities behind. You literally just left.
What are the responsibilities?
I don't know. I mean, I do believe, like, I do understand that when you bring children into this world, you can't bring them with the expectations that they will take care of you when you're old. You're not supposed to, anyways. You're supposed to bring children to this world and like just give them the chance and let them live and not worry about what they do when they grow up. But we do come from a culture where you're expected to take care of your parents. It's not just an expectation. Like, I want to take care of them when they grow old. Like, I love them. I want to help them out. If they go to hospital, like, I want to be there.
To be fair, I
And
also would have
still
loved.
love them. I think
would
you
have
would have
loved
done
to
too.
as
I
well.
know.
But like, unfortunately, I think my life also just and my life experiences just took me somewhere else.
I know, and I get that, and that's allowed, you know, but it also leaves me with all that responsibility.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, if I have, let's say I get, like, a chance where I get, like, I could leave, I would think twice. Because it's like when you left, you had me behind. So
Yeah,
it's like
it's
you
true.
knew, no, they will be okay, you know, like I'll be there or I can help taking care of them. If I were to leave, I would think twice or three times. I don't think necessarily it would prevent me, but it would be a much harder decision on me.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, of course, 100%.
You know, it's
In
there
a,
is,
yeah.
yeah.
In a
totally.
way, I think you're stuck in the middle between two parties that's, I think, behaving a bit selfishly,
Into a sense, exactly, where you know, yes,
which sucks.
it does.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I know you are. I know you are. But at the end of the day, I think the younger child always gets to be a bit more selfish. Then I don't necessarily think how it is. It's just I don't know. The parents always focus on the older child when they grow and like they mold that person a little bit more into themselves. I think just natural.
Type, okay, if I was like, I'm coming back
Yes.
to Montreal
Would
and
that
I'm
change
just
my
gonna
life
stay
now?
and all that, would it change at all the way that you're living your life or all that?
Not at the moment. I think I've gotten to a point where I'm very content with my life.
But you also got to that point because of how I
exactly
behaved
like you behave
previously.
this way, and it's like I adjusted, but
Yeah.
I adjusted to a point where I am happy where I am.
But that's great because that also says a lot about you because that
Yeah,
means that
that's
you're also adaptable.
But yes, I've adapted to a point where I like where my life is right now, you know, and I like being close to them. Now you tell me, how do you feel about being far away where you're not fully involved? Like, for example, you always hear about things after they happen. Or, you know, like you may not hear about them because we don't want to worry you or all that.
Yeah,
How
I mean,
does that
I
make you
feel left out, of course.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm still part of the family, but a lot of the times I feel like I'm an outsider and I chose to move.
Yeah.
And also because a lot of the time there's also the details that I miss. That even on calls, for example, I ask about it, but people are like, oh, like you wouldn't know, you weren't here. عرفتي؟ يعني they are just like, oh, like why would you want to know this? You don't know this other thing, so I'm not gonna bother and give you the details. عرفتي؟ يعني even like now, like conversations with the parents, 10-minute conversation, 15-minute conversation here and there, it doesn't really get deeper into the things. And it's I think because there is less curiosity and interest in each other's lives in that way.
That makes sense, though. Distance, unfortunately,
But it doesn't
creates
have to, I
Jaffa.
think. The thing is, I don't think it does because I have friends who live in Berlin and their friends, their family is in America, for example, and they have conversations with their parents for like an hour, 2 hours, like that kind of stuff. They know a lot about them. They go to them for advice, like that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying this is like their fault. It's also my fault as well, probably because I can't or I don't show them as much as maybe they can see from my life. RFT? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's this divide where it's not you're not just far, you're also doing something that they don't understand or they can't accept easily.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't necessarily like if they inquire more, they may not like what they say. So you may do this thing where you don't necessarily show them 100%.
خلي ايدك هيك على هذا لا ايدك على لا على صدره ايه Also, it's a lot easier for me to leave
Yes,
than for you
you're the man.
because
It's
I'm the
true.
man and
Yes,
you're a woman.
You don't have the defined caretaker quality.
Exactly,
about
and we
the
don't
role.
we come from a culture where like the woman is the caretaker, caregiver.
Yes,
you know,
and
has to be there with her family. You know, like that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. Sorry, that really sucks.
It's okay.
Yeah, I
made
recognize.
peace. I know you recognize
Yeah.
it, and do expect me at some point tell you to come back if I ever need you to.
You can. I'm telling you, you can always tell me like anytime it's too much for you, just call me and tell me, hey, like I need you, like
Go
come.
for a couple of months. Yeah.
Even it doesn't have to be like come back and move back. It could
Yes.
literally be like, hey, like I'm having a really like tough week or two, and I just need a break from whatever it is. It could be from parents, it could be from life, could be whatever it is, and you can just always be like, just come and just spend time.
Okay.
It could be a month, could be 2, could be 3, could be 4, whatever.
I get that.
Yes.
But don't you like the other thing when I think about this, I'm asking you to stop your life cold wherever your life is. Do you have like the emotional, the work and the money, like the capabilities of just picking up and leaving and coming? I know you adapt quickly, but to ask me to ask you something to do that, I am also asking you to interrupt your life, which I would think twice about versus figuring
of
things
course.
out. If
But
I
I
can.
know that if you like I think if you are doing that, if you're asking me, then let me figure out a way to say yes I can or no I can't.
Would you say no you can't if I asked you
course.
to? You'd be
If I
comfortable
can't-
enough to say
yeah,
no I can't?
if I really
Okay.
can't, if there's something very, very important, then
You would say
no.
no.
But I wouldn't say no in that way. I would find a compromise.
Yeah, you would be like,
يعني
I
I'd
can't
be
come
like,
now,
I
I'll
can
come
now
a bit
exactly.
later or
عرفتي?
something.
Like there's a way to be able to do it because also if you're asking, then that means you really need it.
Yes.
Because you don't ask.
No, I don't ask for help.
You
No,
never ask.
that's another thing. I don't ask for help.
So
Yes,
I'm telling you, you can ask for
I
help.
can ask for help.
And that would also make me feel better about leaving. Because I recognize that this is very selfish behavior.
Yes.
And I want you to...
I'm glad that you recognize it.
Yes.
I do. It's all about showing up.
Yes.
Like, honestly, that's it for them, you know?
Exactly. And I can show up when people ask me to.
Yes.
Better? Did you watch the video that I made about my parents?
I did. I did not necessarily appreciate that video very much because it's very your point of view.
So I tried to make it not only my point of view. I really tried.
I know, but I don't think that's fair. Let me explain. Because you see them for 2 weeks, every 6 months, let's say, okay? So if they have this whole frustration about not seeing you, not being in your life, and then you sit them down for like a very serious conversation, and you expect them to be fully, like truthfully, without necessarily taking out that frustration in that conversation, okay? But like they can't. You know, they do have expectations, they do have frustrations that are gonna come out in that conversation. And you expect that conversation to be as, not positive, but let's say as fruitful as a conversation you're having with someone you live with, for example, Santos, who like sees you now, who knows you now, who has had that time to see you grow, and who's like there with you almost all the time. It's not a fair comparison, if that makes sense, you know? So, I mean, I do think my parents aren't wrong in the way they judge you. Don't get me wrong, I do believe that, and I think they need to at some point get over that, and I don't know if they will, بصراحة, if they ever will, but I also need you to get it from their point of view too.
I think I get it from their point of view, and that's what I'm trying to communicate to you here. We're contrasting it with the conversation I have with Santo. Basically, me showing how I don't take his side, and I'm not also taking their side. I'm kind of like in the middle, where like there's this thing here, and then this thing here, and then I'm trying to like reason with like both of them in that way, you know?
Oh. Have you ever told them the fact that like you did exactly what they did to their parents?
Yes, we've had that conversation plenty of times.
Okay.
But I don't know what to say, yani, because they also recognize that.
They do. I think the difference is that they felt like they needed that for a better life versus they don't get why you
Exactly.
need to do it. Because for you, it's like, for you, it is a better life, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they necessarily understand how this is a better life.
Yes, exactly. But actually, they see it as not a better life. They see it as a worse life because it's also deviating so much from their life,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that I can't reason with.
You can't, because unless they, yeah. This is where I recognize and I understand that it's very unfortunate and it really, really sucks for you. But you're living a life that's they've never seen before. None of their relatives seen, none of their friends, none of their sons of friends have done this. So
I've also never seen this. I know I'm
But not
living a
even,
life
like,
that's very different.
very
but why?
different from
But why
everybody.
is yeah? But
But
why? But
difference
why is
is
that so
not
bad?
wrong. That's not
But they
bad.
see it as a bad
It's-
thing. That's my thing.
I know it's because it's so unusual though. Anything that's new, anything that's different.
But that's I think where that's wrong.
I agree with you. I don't think that they're right. I think they're wrong when it comes to this. But for them, it's so unusual and it's so different. They don't know how to cope with this.
But do you need to? I understand. I get it. I try to sympathize with that.
Like for them,
This-
it's like they raised you, so they do expect you to be a certain image of themselves to a certain extent. And the fact that you're not, they don't know how to cope with that. And it's wrong. They don't need to cope. They just need to accept.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're getting that. But we don't come from a culture where people accept. You get that too, right? Like they've been raised in a culture that says this is how it should be, this is what you is, this is how you direct your children, this is the religion they have, this is what it is, blah 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 blah. So I don't know if they can learn to just let go of all of that and just accept. And I think they're wrong on that. 100%, I think they're wrong. I just don't think you're gonna ever get to a point
Yeah,
where
I
you
know,
have to.
and I think I've made peace with that.
Okay.
But I have.
Have you?
I have. Of course, I have because I can't move on without it. Yeah, I can't live with it in that way. You know what I mean?
Honey, yeah, it's like I recognize it's very unfortunate for you. I recognize that you have to live life without their full support and without your parents saying, "I accept you for who you are 100%." Because unfortunately,
But I see them
don't.
trying, and that's what's
They are
important.
trying, which is a very big step for someone who comes from their culture and
Of
from their
course, I
background,
know,
from
I know,
their
I
religion.
recognize that.
You do recognize, like,
Of course,
it's someone, you know,
of
like
course.
they.
And that's the thing is like as long as I see the effort, there's something happening, like that's great.
There is an
And-
effort, that's for sure.
Yeah, خلاص,
And
that's
I mean,
what
you should.
want.
Yeah, I mean, you're not there, but you should hear them. The way they describe you to their friends. You know, like it is with proudness. They do describe you like, oh, my son's like doing this and that. Like they do describe it, but not when you're there.
Yeah, but
I
don't know.
You're not
If you don't tell me,
there.
then how
Well,
do I
I'm
know?
telling you, it's like the way they talk about you behind your back is so much better than the way they talk to you necessarily. Because when they talk to you, they're just trying to like,
Yeah,
I guess,
but-
fix those differences. That's
But that's great, and I love hearing this.
Yes.
And, yeah, but I don't know that. I
Okay.
didn't know that, but that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Okay. Well, yes, they talk like they are proud of what you do, you know, and I think they do recognize that the fact that you're able to build your own world by yourself without anybody's help and live the life that you want, which is all they want. More video? Just so I know.
Always
Oh, what?
for the crowd.
So I come and see Kara, for example, in Taiwan, who like plans most of my trip, which is so great.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. And thank you for showing around.